Oh wow! All right, hello, ladies and germs. Welcome to the Getsuga Talk Show podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Ohgrr Hendricks. I don't know if I don't know. It's been so long. I don't remember what I used to say. It's been so long, dude. It's been 5 months. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. I've moved, as you see. I have Path of Exiles in the background because I moved, and my new co-host does not have a stream camera, so we're gonna be doing this remotely. And I figure this is something to put in the background instead of just seeing my face blankly looking at a screen for a while. I'm going to play some PoE, so if I'm a little slow on my responses, it's probably why, but I'm not playing hardcore, so it's okay. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend?
I am Kevin Silia. You can call me Sai. It's easy.
Alright, man. So, for anybody who's kind of been following the stream or the podcast or any bit of that, Sai used to pop up in chat all the time, and I don't know, he's just available and wants to do the podcast with me, so that's what we're going to be doing. Oh my lord, my screen's exploding. I should probably not talk about the game, but... So, this is kind of a podcast update. Like I said, it's been almost 5 months, a little over 5 months actually, since the last episode that we've done on the stream, and I have been pretty out of it, I'm not going to lie. There's been a whole lot of stuff that I have not had a chance to talk about. I haven't been keeping up with shows as much as I should have, so... Or do you want to start? Do you want to start with shows going on this season? Do you want to kind of talk about the stream or what's going on? Like, where do you want to start? What are you feeling?
I mean, we could do, what's going on this season, right?
Yeah, we can do that. I'm only watching 2 shows this season, and those are...
I'm watching 1,000.
Yeah, you're where I was, man. You're doing what I used to do. It's just I'm working a lot more now, so it's a little bit harder, but now that we're getting the podcast up and running, I have more of an excuse to actually start watching shit again. You know, it was one thing when I just didn't have any reason to keep up as much, but we're back there. We're in it. So let's talk about the 2 that we're doing collectively, and then you can talk about some of the stuff you're watching. So Kimetsu no Yaiba or Demon Slayer, or Demon Slayer Sword, I guess. I don't know. There's a few different English translations. Why is the show something you're watching, man? What's up? What's popping about it? What do you like? What do you don't like?
I mean, right out of the gate, it's just a UFO table show, right? Everything they do is amazing. It's just you look at the Fate series, stuff like that, and you just know it's going to be good, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. The Fate series is, I don't know. I used to be somewhat caught up with what the shows or the Fate series, but now it's just there's so many spin-offs and alternate universes and I don't know what's canon, what's not. I don't know what matters and what doesn't. There's just so much built into that universe. But that's not UFO Table's fault. That's just the Fate world. But
yeah, I never really got too into the spin-offs or anything like that. But
my bit I think is a casual viewer is you just don't even know what the spin-offs which ones are spin-offs and which ones are actually canon and shit. It just gets a little dicey.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I am. I know a few of my friends are really into it. I don't know. I don't really care too much for all the spin-off stuff. I stuck to all the main, the source,
I got you. I don't know. There's that Gygic video, I'm sure you've seen it, where it's just hey, so I was told to come here about watching the Fate series. Yeah, okay. What do you want to know? Well, where do I start? Well, do you want the long version or the short version? I asked for the short version. That was the short version.
Want the Astolfo version?
Oh boy! All right. Anyway, back to Kimetsu no Yaiba. Yeah, it's a gorgeous show. The fight scenes are super cool. Are you finally caught up all the way, or are you still kind of doing a little bit of a catch up right now?
I'm still on episode 9.
I want to talk about the last episode so bad. I watched it today. It came out today, and man, that was some good stuff.
It's actually your fault that I'm not caught up.
Why is it my fault?
Because you're all talking about reading and stuff like that. I started reading.
Did you? What did you start reading? Let's sidebar real quick. We'll get back to this.
I started reading Karakano.
Yeah.
It's my favorite anime of all time, right?
Yeah.
It ended in 1991. I was
so were you able to pick up where it left off, and now you're in love? What's the situation?
I'm starting it over, from the beginning, but.
Are you learning stuff that wasn't there initially? Then maybe something like that, or.
No, it's actually pretty. So far, it's pretty 1-to-1. It feels like.
Well, once we hit the episode 18 equivalent, right? That's when things get a little more.
Yeah, I think it gets a little different there. But yeah, I figured after 30 years, it's probably not getting a sequel or
probably not.
Sequel.
Probably not. All right. Well, proud of you. I don't know. I told you, reading isn't that bad. You can bump through a lot of material real quick, and I think that's just I don't want to say fun. It's just a nice way to be able to consume the medium. Because like I said, my time is kind of limited now, so I'll probably end up reading a lot more, especially for like Firewatch coming up. Like, that's going to be something I'll probably end up reading more than watching. Unfortunately, I'll probably like find the fight scenes that I really want to watch, and then watch those, but the majority of that consumption for me is probably going to end up being reading. But back to
honestly.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
No, go ahead.
For me, it's probably just going to be like I'll read whatever I know I won't be able to finish like through anime.
Yeah. My bit, I guess, of like why I would want to read Firewatch is that's a whole year of anime that I can like not have to watch, and just watch the highlight scenes. Dude, that's so much. That's a year of anime. That's something we can kind of sidebar to a little bit later. But let's just kind of.
Sounds great to me.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. It sounds great, but like as a kid, that sounded great. I don't have as much time as you do right now, and like. I don't know, it's just harder. I work 12-hour shifts and a lot of overtime and a lot of work, period, and that's just exhausting. It's really exhausting. I enjoy my 12-episode bullshit seasons, right? Is Kimetsu no Yaiba going to be 12 episodes? Do you know? I don't remember if it's a full...
24, I believe.
Ooh, that's going to be nice.
The thing that I'm concerned about is that I don't know whether or not it's going to get another season because of all the stuff going on with UFO Table, like the tax evasion stuff.
Yeah. Well, if anything, another studio will pick it up and then destroy it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's something that probably
I guess, I don't know, if you're involved enough in the characters and shit, I guess it wouldn't matter, but like, I don't know, I could see like Madhouse could pick that up and do like just as good, I would think. But... You
would think that Madhouse would have done, or just kept One Punch Man if that was the case, though.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't pick up One Punch Man. Again, I don't know like all the drama or the details on that. I don't read that much to know, but like to me it's wild that they didn't pick that up. Especially with how popular the first season was. Like that shit, like that was one of the huge Western pushes for anime in the past like 5-10 years was One Punch Man. Everybody in America watched that shit.
As far as I've heard, it was something of like they wanted to make One Punch Man more of your like typical shonen, like a long running thing, and I don't think that Madhouse wanted to devote the time to.
I got you, yeah, because there's already like, I don't know, there's probably well over 200 chapters of One Punch Man now. I think last time I looked there was like 180, and that was a couple years back, so I'm sure that there's quite a bit of material to be made.
And huge demand for it, right?
Yeah. So. I can understand that, but Kimetsu no Yaiba. Let's kind of finish up the discussion. So yeah, animation's gorgeous. I don't even know like how to describe that art style because it's definitely anime, right? Like it's not like, but like what is that incorporation? Because when we see him use his like water skills and shit like that, it's definitely like a different style of animation, right? I don't know what that's called or what even to frame that as, but it's fucking gorgeous and I love the way it looks because it kind of looks like those old Japanese paintings that you see, like with the waves crashing and things like that. And I think it's exactly what it's supposed to look like, but it just looks cool, and I love that. It just looks really cool. Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of like watercolor kind of stuff, but it's not really like that,
No, I get what you mean. It's really nice. It's a big change of pace because I love when an anime can incorporate like new mediums well, and I think that's something like we were talking about with UFO Table earlier, like off stream. Let me just plug that real quick. If anybody like wants to like casually just talk about anime, I'm streaming like this game right here, right now in the background. I'm like. Anytime I'm not at work, I'm probably playing this and streaming and chatting, and I'm always down to talk about anime. And we were talking about a lot of stuff off stream last night, and that's kind of how we decided to actually do the podcast together, starting as of today. Hopefully you're at a good volume, by the way. I didn't even think to like test that before we started, but hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh well, I guess we'll find out. Let me turn you up just a touch, just to be safe. Give me 1 second. But UFO Table with Kimetsu no Yaiba has thrown a little bit of 3D animation here and there, but it's not like unwarranted and looks like crap because I think everybody's seen bad 3D CG and it's gross. And I don't think UFO Table's done that. Like I don't know, like I think everybody watched Goblin Slayer, whether you thought it was controversial or not. I think everybody like took a peek at Goblin Slayer and like it was just like that question mark, like why was it just is so out of place.
There were times where it wasn't so bad, but then there were like those like
it just was so out of place. I think that's what it just you could tell like everybody else around him was like normal anime like animation style, and then he wasn't.
And then it was really wonky. I've had a couple of those with Kimetsu no Yaiba, but where he kind of looks like like one of the Mii characters from the Wii a little bit when he's walking around. I've seen that a little bit, but it's not been anything that bothers me too much.
Yeah, but the whole point of me mentioning it just in general is that like it looks pretty okay, right? There's nothing That's kind of just thrown me off about it, and I think it looks appropriate. It's not annoying, it's not in your face, it's not overly done. It's just, yeah, this is okay, you know?
Yeah, and I don't think that they're using it in like places where it doesn't need to be used, or like for like no reason or anything like that. So I think it looks nice. Yeah,
so we got 3 different like art mediums in this anime, so like that alone I think is a pretty good selling point, especially if like you're a fan of anime as a medium, just because you like the style of animation or whatever it may be. I think that's like a good selling point for the show. The story is pretty. This is something we were kind of talking about. Like it's generic, right? Like it's
yeah, it's pretty generic shonen.
But it's not like, oh, how dare you, generic. It's not another fucking Naruto or something. It's just it's a story we've all like kind of familiar with. You know what I mean? Like it's a story of vengeance. There's a slight twist on it that he's like. I don't know, I guess we can kind of outline it real quick. It's been a while since I've done this, so I'm kind of out of the flow, so hopefully you guys aren't hating this podcast right now. It's been a while for us, or for me, maybe not so much for him, but, oh wow, this shit looks crazy. Sorry, I'm saying a lot. I'm so out of the flow with this, dude, it's killing me. Oh, pop my neck. What were we talking about? Okay, so outlining the show just like in a general sense, so we can kind of give you guys an idea of what the show is. If you haven't watched it, I don't know, we're pretty far into the season at this point. We're almost at the wrap up. We probably do a wrap up next time we do this and just kind of talk about winners and losers of the season. But Kimetsu no Yaiba, I don't know, you can pretty much break down the basis of the show from the first episode, right? Like there's not a lot of like question marks after the first. You know what you're getting after you watch the first episode. Am I wrong?
It's kind of like pretty much like a Batman story, right? Lose family. You know, go on a
get
little
vengeance,
bit of like,
the only like little twist is that his sister didn't die and she's a demon now, and he's trying to find a way to turn her back. Like that's pretty much it. Like there's nothing like too crazy to the storyline. There's special swords that are used to kill demons in the show, which is whatever, you know, it's not a unheard of scenario, and that's pretty much the basis of the show. It's just done really well. The animation's cool, the storyline's interesting. There's like rank structure, which I think is going to be interesting. It's been a while since we've watched just a shonen or an anime in general without a rank structure, or with a rank structure. You had Naruto, you had, you know, your academy student Genin, Chunin, Jonin, all that kind of deal, right? It was cool to see that because like you think you're going in, you're like, oh, he's going to climb the ranks, but we never really get to see that. And he just skips like 3 of them. Bleach kind of had ranks, but he never joined one of the Soul Society divisions, so we never got to see him go up in rank, so that was never like a discussion either, because he was already just better than most of them. My hero doesn't really have ranks. You're either a pro hero or you're not. Like that's pretty much, there's like the provisional heroes, I guess, but that's not really a rank.
There's the 2RO universe, you know, railgun and index.
Yeah.
Like the different levels and stuff like that.
I've only watched, like I said, the first season. I think I just started the second season a while back, so I don't know, like, if... I'm pretty sure he just stays a low-level Esper, though, doesn't he? Is that not... Is that accurate? So it's not as... I don't know. But either way, from the way I feel this is going to go, we're actually going to see him go up in ranks, because he's, like, actively completing missions for the society and stuff. He's not going off doing his own thing, and, like, he's underappreciated. Like, I think people are very well aware of, like, the character. And I feel like usually, like, in situations like this... Again, like Bleach, he just comes in as better than everybody already, and I don't think that's the situation with our character at all, because he's still struggling with these people that I think other people are just going to dump on.
The one thing I do think is a little awkward is that he has that, you know, you see it sometimes in some shows where they have, where it's like, he's meant to be weaker or whatever, like they say, like the Black Sword or whatever.
It's a bad omen.
Yeah,
it's a bad omen or something like that, yeah.
But then he just ends up kind of being a badass, and you're like, why is he a badass if he's supposed to suck? Like,
I think it was more just like, I don't think it's guaranteed anything about the sword. They said some swords have special qualities, but I think what it was more so was just like, it's more like rumors, I think, is the way it's meant to be. Like, I guarantee you, I don't know if we go back, I guarantee you the guy that we meet in the first episode has a black sword. I'm just saying. I think that's a pretty likely scenario, do you not? Like, I just feel like that's something...
I could definitely see that. I feel like I want to go back to the first episode now.
Yeah, I'm just curious. So on that, I kind of mentioned that there's like special swords to kill the demons. Once you become a demon slayer, which is a process in the show that they go through, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's fun to watch like training episodes and like seeing a character improve. Obviously, time passed, which I think is, I love that. I feel like a lot of shows don't do time passage very well or at all, and it kind of bothers me. And in this show, like, it was very clear that a time passed. It was like it was over a year, right? That he was training around.
I think it was 2 years that they said she was sleeping. So yeah.
Yeah, so he was there. He was training for like 2 years during the span of like the first like 10 episodes. It obviously was less than that, but episode wise, not time wise. But point stands that like time passes, and I think that's just a really important thing. And they show time passing. They're not just like, oh, time passed, and there's no like visual representation. Like his hair grew longer and things like that, and he cut it. Like I don't know. I appreciate small details like that, I guess, because I feel like it's just not done at all, ever. And it kind of bugs me, but
I started online.
well, I guess they're characters, you know. And then like when he came out of the bed, he had long hair. What do you? Well, I got a dump on this. I thought we agreed. Like I thought we were collective on the show. Wasn't as bad as everybody else to make it out.
That's my one gripe with the show. Really, is like in Minecraft. It's not even like the like when he gets out of the game or anything like that. It's more specifically while he is in the game, and you know, time kind of just passes, and it's just like days later or whatever, like months later, and you're just like, what happened in those few months? We have nothing to like.
I got you. I get you. Well, I guess like, well, are you saying like there's no prompt letting you know that time's passed, or like what do you mean by that? Because like in Kimetsu no Yaiba, it's just like 6 months later, 3 weeks later, and then it's showing him like doing better at a thing he was struggling before or something. You know, it was never like, I don't know. It didn't really tell you what he was doing the whole time. He like kind of talks about it, I guess, a little bit, but. Anyway, go ahead.
With Sword Art Online, it just lets you know that time has passed, and then you're just kind of like, it tells you that he improves a little bit too, but you don't. It's like the whole, you know, like with writing or whatever. It's like the show note, don't tell thing, right? They tell you, they don't show you, but you're supposed to show and not tell, right?
Yeah. I guess I get that.
That's the one gripe that I've always had with SAO, is that it's just, I feel like too much happened off camera, and there's just like a lot of time passage, I guess.
I get you. I think that's a stance that I will openly accept on this stream, though, or this podcast in general, is that SAO really wasn't as bad as everybody made it out to be. Like, yes, it has its flaws, but every anime has its flaws. It created the most loved, or not created, it reinvigorated the most loved genre right now. And I guess I guess loved is a loose term. Yeah, I guess loved is a loose term there, because you either love it or hate it, but you still love it at the end. Like, I don't know. I still watch my Isekai trash every season, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's I'm probably gonna watch every Isekai next season, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows just in general next season. That's just kind of the way anime plays for us. But oh man, I don't know. Do you have any like major comments on the show though? Is there anything like Kimetsu no Yaiba is just doing phenomenally outside of the animation aspect that we talked about? I guess what we were just talking about, time passing, is really nice too. I appreciate that. That's something that I think is just like undermentioned in anime in general, is time passage. I feel like so much happens, and it's like, how much time has actually passed? And it's like, when you look at it, it's only been like a month, but somehow our characters had, 15 major battles and didn't have to recover from any of them. Whereas in Kimetsu no Yaiba, like right now, towards the end of the season, or I guess not the end of the season, the end of like the winter season, spring season, the end of spring, we're looking at, like our characters actually like 2 episodes later dealing with an injury that he was dealing with months ago in the show because of how time passes. And yeah, like he broke some bones. He's not going to be 100%, So yeah. I think it's pretty cool how they've, I don't know, I think it's well suited to be long form, like consumption, I guess. If that makes any sense.
I don't really feel like I'm I don't think I have anything much to say other than the animation, like right now, just because I feel like I don't know enough, right? Because I'm on episode 9.
They really haven't explained a whole lot since then. We get a little bit of information, and we have a rough idea of what's going on, but it's not like, oh, man, wait for this huge story point that they haven't told you yet. I don't think there's been a moment like that, but
yeah, I do feel like there is a bit more that I would like to know, I guess, and that's
what questions do you have? We can kind of talk about that now, right? This is a good time to talk about shit. What kind of questions do you have? What are you curious about?
I'm pretty curious about the whole Demon Slayer's Corp and all that stuff, just in general, right? Because we don't really know all that much about it other than that it exists.
Yeah,
and the main character is a member of it. That's about it.
And we know that the dude from the first episode is one of the members too. He's one of the leaders, to be more specific, I guess. But I don't know if you caught that. Some people didn't catch that. I'm not sure how, because I think it was pretty clearly put that he was one of the leaders. But
I didn't know he was a leader.
Yeah, so you remember like the highest rank, the 12 or 13, whatever it is. I don't remember what the numbers are off the top of my head. You know, every show has like its number references and everything. But if you go back and watch the episode where his teacher's explaining the leaders and like the rank, or was it his teacher talking about the rankings? I think it's no. Was it? I don't know. No, was it when the girls were explaining the rankings? They like were showing like they showed silhouettes of the people, regardless whatever point it happened. I don't remember. They showed silhouettes of the people, and like two of them were not silhouetted. And one of them was a teacher, and one of them I just didn't recognize. And I think we're going to see him at some point. I might be wrong. I feel like there's two, but there's definitely the dude from the first episode was one of the shown people. So,
And that's another thing, is just like him. I would like to know more about his character. Like, was he only going to be in the first episode? Like, I obviously don't think so, but
yeah,
it just seems that there are a lot of things open ended, and we're almost reaching the halfway point of the season, and we don't know that we'll get another season. So
I'm expecting more answers by the end of the season. We're meeting. Oh man, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but at the same time, oh well. So we're finally meeting the dude with the hog head, right? I've already mentioned that to you just in passing.
Yeah,
we're meeting the dude from the intro, the OP with the hog head, who I was just curious about because he looked like he's supposed to be a comedic character, but definitely not. Dude's fucking bonkers, batshit insane. I'm not gonna break down his whole character, but something we kind of learn as we go, because we've only ever seen our main character's fighting style, right? We've only seen him who's been like properly trained by somebody. We're aware that there was other people at the exams with him and who were learning or trying to become demon slayers. But the two other people's fighting styles we've seen, I'm not going to say who they are or like what's happening or whatever, but like the two other people's fighting styles are all breathing related from what we've seen. So I'm really curious like to see what other styles there are. And the hoghead guy though, like minor spoiler, his thing, he like, you know, every anime they gotta explain what their power is while they're doing it or whatever, like name it or whatever, some fucking power word. His is self-taught. It's called self-taught beast breathing, and I'm like really curious to like learn about him as a character, and if he's like a part of the core or if he's just like some fucking free agent just running around killing shit or what. So
yeah, that sounds cool. I don't really have anything to
they're good. It's
add
just
to that.
it's very open-ended on that. I'm just curious to see where the show's gonna go. I'd like to talk about it more when I learn more, I guess.
Yes.
I was gonna say something though. What was I gonna say? I don't know. It's fine. I should probably have my notes out. It's fine. I don't know. Let's move on to the next show that we're both watching this season, and that'd be the Magi's grandson. I don't remember the Japanese name. I also don't speak Japanese, so I can't just like roughly translate it for you right now. But that's isekai trash. Like it's another one of those shows, and again, generic as shit. But I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's funny as hell. I think that's what it is for me. Is it's just comedy. And it's very clearly low budget, and I think they're doing very well considering how low budget it is. I don't know like how much you've been paying attention to that, but like there's many screens where it's just like them standing there without like any lip flaps, and then there's stuff going on in the background because they're trying to save budget on animation and stuff like that.
But then it seems like some of the fight scenes are
they pump all of the money into those few fight scenes in animation, which is really unfortunate. I think the show could like do a little bit better with a bigger budget. But I don't think it's going to get a second season. I think it's just one of those shows that's just trying to sell some light novels, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think it'll probably succeed, maybe. I don't know.
It's not doing super hot on the subreddit for anime, but it's not doing bad either. It's still up there, but it's just a generic isekai trash.
What really is doing super hot on the subreddit, though?
Dororo's picking up a lot. People are really liking Dororo. What else? What's number one right now? It's I'm trying to think. One Punch Man had a huge start and then it tanked when people didn't like the animation. What's number one right now? You want to go? Can you check? It's something that like I should be. Oh, duh! Moment. Is Mob Psycho still airing? Is that what it is?
No. Probably Shield Hero, maybe. I don't know.
No, Shield Hero is definitely not up there. People tanked the shit out of that on the Reddit. Which, commenting on that, I've read the manga up to where the anime is going to be ending, and like. I don't get why people are dumping on it. It's the storyline is another generic isekai, but like it's enjoyable. There's a lot of good debate points, and I don't know. It's cool animation, cool concept. Our main character isn't OP off the start. Maybe that's what people don't like. Which one of my favorite parts about that, but to each his own, I guess.
It's Attack on Titan, by the way.
Yeah. Have you been keeping up with Attack on Titan?
No, I watched the first season. It just didn't do it for me.
No, I got you. That's fine. You don't have to like it. I just, man, I will like. I gotta give it to them. This back end of season 3, bro, it's popping off. I'm just putting that out there. There's been some hype ass moments, and I don't know. Anyways, back to Maggie's grandson. I don't know. It's pretty simple, cookie cutter. Our main character is OP as shit.
Yeah.
He married the girl that he wanted to be with pretty early in the show, which I'm pretty hyped. You know, like
they didn't get married though, did they? They had the party.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. They're openly engaged. That's what it is. I'm sorry, but it's still like they just kind of cut around all the bullshit. And we're like, oh, here's the show. They're into each other. Cool. Now we can focus on other things. But I guess there's only like I think that's only 13 though, right? Episodes.
Yes.
So there's only 2 more episodes, so they're not going to wrap up a whole lot. I don't think. I might be wrong.
It might actually be 12. It might be 12.
Either way, we're on episode 11 right now, and I don't see a whole lot wrapping up next episode. So we're going to be kind of left open-ended. So like I said, I think this is just going to be one of those shows to sell you some shit. So that's unfortunate, but I enjoyed it while it lasted, I guess.
I wish it did have a little bit more time, even if it is pretty generic. I wish they had a little bit more time to flesh certain things out.
Are you roughly caught up on that, or where are you at on that?
Yeah, I'm fully caught up on it.
So there's no way they're going to flesh out the whole like Demonoid's backstory and like how he became like a coherent Demonoid. Like it's just not going to, at least not to a level that I would like it to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we still don't know how Strom is like creating Demonoids. Right? Yeah, we don't know anything about any of that, and I just don't see them telling us in the next couple episodes.
It may get another season. You never know.
I mean, some bad shows have gotten a second season. What was the one you were telling me about? I forgot the name of it. Not Fairy Gone or Fairy Lost. What was it? It's something Gone or Lost. Okay. Well, nobody likes that, and from what I understand why. I haven't watched it, but from what you've told me and like from what I've heard, I don't understand why it's getting a second season.
It's just so boring. It's even like unique, right? But it's so boring. It's insanely boring.
Isn't it the one with the horrible CG too?
Yeah, boring and bad CG.
That's a recipe for disaster. Now I understand everybody's into different things, and I can get that. But from what I understand, like nobody that I've talked to likes it. So
yeah, I've got one friend who has stuck with it all the way through. He is saying that it's better now, but I don't really want to sit through, 8 episodes of being bored to tears to get to that.
No, I understand. I'm the same way. I think this is something we've talked about off stream and just kind of in this. I know we're going to be rehashing a lot of things. I'm pretty sure you were aware of that coming into this, but
yeah.
It's just one of those things where like you enjoy what you enjoy. I'm not going to judge you for it, but I'm not going to sit through a show where you have to tell me, oh, it gets better. It gets better unless it starts good and it gets better. You know what I mean? Like that's obviously going to be a selling point, but I don't know. That's why I've never really gotten into One Piece. Is everybody like, oh, it gets better. Don't worry. And I'm like, I don't want to sit through all this bullshit though. Like, it's just not that good.
I'm also okay with it if I like the concept, but it starts slow. But people say it gets better, right? Like, maybe like the first couple episodes are kind of like meh, but I really like the idea of the show.
Right? A good example of that, actually. I haven't finished it, unfortunately, going back, but I got one of my coworkers to start watching Promised Neverland, and he said like he was super into it the first 2 episodes, and it was really slow for a while, and he just wasn't sure if he was going to finish it. But if you're into the concept, and he's glad he finished it, like it was what he expected it to be at the end. So
yeah, Promised Neverland was really good.
Yeah. So like again, just as a general rule, if you're listening to this podcast, you enjoy what you enjoy, man. You watch SAO and you enjoy it. I enjoyed SAO. I'm not going to sit here and bash on it like a bunch of other people are. I'll admit that it has its flaws, but if you enjoyed it, fucking enjoy it, dude. Power to you. What's another good example? Yeah. The only thing that I'm not okay with you enjoying is
school days.
Not even that. You enjoy school days if you're into that trash. I don't know.
No, you're a bad person.
No. It's the stuff from our Shit So Sundays. I don't know if you listen to those or watched any of the anime that we were watching on those, but dear God, there is some awful anime that we have watched in our time, and I'm just not a fan of any of it. I never want to start that series again. Maybe I'll make you do an episode with me tomorrow. We'll watch something and come in and just like cry for an hour while we talk about it.
Oh boy.
Man. All right. I don't know. So Maggie's Grandson's back on this. I don't know. Is there any like comments you have on the show? I think it's pretty. I feel bad using the term generic because this is maybe a talking point we can bring up here in a minute, but it's just there's nothing like spectacular that stands out other than the fact that like, oh shit, he actually gets the girl. You know, it's not they obviously like each other. It's he just straight up gets the girl, and then cool, you know, you get to move on and actually learn shit. So
I mean, it's tropey. You kind of expect everything that's going to happen. It's still fun, though.
Yeah.
I don't really...
I think, like, my big selling point on the show, and I think I mentioned earlier, is just, it's fucking hilarious. I think there's just been so many good comedic moments, and, like, there's a lot of good, like, reaction gifs in that show, honestly. Like, if you just, like, cut some of the faces, they've done really well with some of the faces.
Yeah. There's no better show for reactions this season, by the way, than Hitoribocchi.
Okay. Well, that's a great segue. So this is a show I haven't watched, but you've been touting since we've been talking about the season in general. So what do you got? Sell me on it. What's it about? Let's go.
It's like how would I explain it? It's just a very good, accurate description of like or depiction, I should say, of you know, just somebody having social anxiety or like very like serious social problems, but
yeah.
It does it in a way where it's not like it's not dark or anything, right? But it finds this way to make these like super endearing moments or like very funny moments. And I don't know, I just thought that it was handled just
so genre wise, I'm assuming it's some kind of like slice of life style.
Yeah, it's like slice of life comedy, more comedy, I would say, than anything else. It's absolutely hilarious.
Okay. I will give it a shot. It's 12, 13, somewhere in there.
12, yeah.
Ooh. Okay, I'll throw it on my list. Again, I don't know when I'll get to it, but it'll be on that list of shit for me to watch at some point, I promise.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you about it.
The whole thing behind it, right, is that she's got these like horrible social problems, right? The premise is she's got all these problems, and her like best friend from middle school, I don't know if it's middle school and they're going into high school, but her best friend tells her that they can't be friends anymore unless she befriends everybody in her class.
So is she trying to befriend everybody in her class?
Yeah, so she's trying to befriend everyone in the class.
Is her friend doing it maliciously, or is it more like trying to force her to be...
I think it's trying to force her to be more... Like, they make it seem in one episode like it almost looks malicious for a second, but then it kind of pulls it back.
Okay.
Maybe I am the only person who took that away, but...
No, I understand. I was just curious, because, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of fucked up if it was malicious. I understand that it's a point, but that's just kind of a shitty... I wouldn't want to be friends with that person, you know? Like, that's just me.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it was pretty funny, though. Like, because one of the things is, like, she'll pass out when she meets a new person, or, like, she'll throw up or something.
Oh, man. So we're talking, like, some extreme social anxiety shit here.
Yeah. Or, like, her leg will cramp and she can't walk or something like that, so the friends that she has made, like, have to carry her around. It's, like, hilarious.
Alright, I'm down to give it a shot. Like I said, I just gotta find time between streaming and watching other shows and working. I will find time, I promise. I'll probably start doing like episode here, there, before bed. That's what I need to get back into doing. That's where the majority of my anime consumption happens, is like when I'm laying down and I just can't sleep. I'm just like, well, let's watch some anime. It's not that it like puts me to sleep or anything. I just don't know. It just works really well to help me sleep for whatever reason.
Even like you know, with all the other great shows this season, that's the one that I have the easiest time recommending to just everybody. It's a great show. It's super fun.
Yeah, gotcha. I will have to give it a shot. Alright, so quick sidebar, actual like podcast updates and shit here. How often are you willing to start doing this again? This is something we haven't talked about. I was just like, hey, like literally our discussion prior to this podcast is like, hey man, are you free tonight? I should be. Why? I was like, you want to do the podcast? Okay, what are we talking about? I don't fucking know. We'll figure it out.
I'm pretty much always free. I don't really have anything going on, so...
Okay. Well, I will let you know. Ideally, I'd want to do this once a week, maybe twice if things go well and, you know, we're actually able to keep up with conversation topics. But I know, like, twice a week burns out a lot of topics very quickly, so...
Yeah, that sounds good.
But alright, cool. Well, that's little minor discussions out of the way. I was gonna say, I had something else I wanted to say. Let's like have a discussion, you know, not talk about so much of what we're talking about. Let's sidebar for a minute. So we've talked about a couple of things in passing over the past couple of days. What do you want to talk about? Is it something? Do you want to talk about? Oh man, sorry. There's a couple. Here's some of the things we've talked about the past couple of days. Just pick one that pops out to you, I guess. We've talked about settling on mediocrity in anime, and that's something we've openly said a couple of times here. So I think that might fit okay. The drama of hating anime and why it's like popular to hate shit and people are just kind of hopping on bandwagons. SJW in anime. Yeah, I was leaving on those three. What three kind of pop out to you right now? What's anything sounded good? I'm kind of down to talk about all of them. So
I guess, like you said, like with things that we were talking about earlier, with the wise man's grandchild or whatever, settling for mediocrity. I think that sounds...
Yeah. So, when we say settling for mediocrity, it's not like, oh, I guess I'll watch it because it's okay. I don't think that's what it is. I think that's maybe not the best, like, terminology to use. I think we're at a point where, like, everything we watch, we're always using this phrase, like, I don't know, like, my good example that I think I mentioned last night, in my mind at least, was, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Everybody's like, oh, it's just another isekai. It just does it better than everything else. And it's like, it's just another, like, I don't... Is that what our statue point is now? Is like, oh, cool. It's just another one of these. Better watch it. I feel like that's just not what our goal should be being. But at the same time, I guess this is like... kind of ties into what Geigeck's been watching. I don't know how much AniTube you guys watch, but Geigeck released a video talking about the death of classical anime and how nobody's really, like, released a classic in a long time and things like that. But I just feel like very few shows are willing to innovate at this point. I feel like everybody's like, oh, I'll just release a show that's going to sell and make money. And I don't think that's on the studios more so. I'm sure there's unique content out there that studios are passing down, but they know what's going to sell, so that's what they're going to do. But I think the other part of that is just writers are just like, oh, I'll make this new isekai about, I don't know, give me an isekai for next season. Give me something that's going to be on our streaming services. What do we got?
Let me pull it up real quick.
Just name something, because I guarantee it's going to be, oh, it's just another isekai with this one trope. That's just what it usually is. And
nice title, Isekai Cheat Magician.
Oh boy, let's hear it.
Oh, am I reading the synopsis? Okay.
Yeah, just give me like what's the trope here? I guess that's more so what I was looking for, because there's always like some trope now, and they're trying to sell you on some initial like unique point.
Transferred into a fantasy world, while in their previous world, Taichi is a normal person who has higher than average reflexes. Oh man, we're sorted online again. Both he and Rin gain high levels of physical and magical ability and begin their new life as magicians. That's the synopsis.
So we have a not neat going into another world. Got it. That's the trope, right? Because, like, I don't know. Think of any isekai. They're usually some type of neat or fucking shut-in or whatever. There's never really...
Yeah.
They're all, like, nerds. That's pretty much the way it goes. So maybe he's not as full nerdy. I don't know.
In ReZero, I guess Subaru was supposed to be like active, like he worked out and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, but he's still a shut-in. He just worked out. Wasn't that like the whole thing?
I guess so. Yeah. What else?
So following, I guess we can kind of use this season as like a reference point. They're trying to pull you in with something unique, and then it's like, oh, we'll see how this plays out, and it usually just either falls off or it's just not that interesting. Like, let's talk about Maggie's grandson, for instance. The full title is Maggie's grandson who lacks common sense or something, or like the Maggie's grandson who was never taught common sense or something like that, right? Isn't it something along that line, like the full title?
I think so. Though on like Crunchyroll or something like that.
It just says Maggie's grandson, yeah.
Yeah, it just says the wise man's grandchild or whatever.
The full title, though, is, like, without common sense, or, like, was never taught common sense. And, like, they try to make that a point in the first couple episodes, that he just doesn't have any common sense, which, why not? He came from another world. He has memories of his past life. Why does he not have, like... He can remember science, but he can't remember common sense. Like, I don't... That's...
Yeah.
Question
that show might as well have not been an isekai, though.
Yeah, and that was something I think me and you have talked about, is just, like, why did they try to make it an isekai? Like, they could have done the exact same show without the isekai trope, and it would have been the exact same show.
Yeah.
You could have just saved like 5
just,
minutes of animation in the first episode.
yeah, it could have just straight up been like a fantasy setting show, and I don't think anybody would have known the difference.
But do you think it might not have done as well because everybody wants their isekai? Like, regardless of whether you like it or not, everybody's watching shows because, like, ooh, isekai, let's see what this new world is doing different, you know? And that's just kind of how it goes.
I think a year or two ago, maybe I would have said yes, but I think nowadays, like, it seems like a lot of people are actually getting burned out on isekai, right? So, I don't know.
We say that, but we still watch it every season.
I didn't say me. I said a lot of people.
I said we, you know?
Yeah.
I know we're not a huge, like... sample size here, but we still watch the same shit every season.
Dude, you throw any isekai at me at any time, I'll watch it. I don't care. I have fun with that.
As long as it's like a decent show, I'll watch it. Like I really just don't care. Is it enjoyable?
Dude,
sure, I'll give it a shot. You know.
I'm watching the one about the dude who gets transported to a video game world with his mom next season.
Dude, that one. Okay, that one looks funny as shit. Though I think that one's gonna pop off. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. I think that's gonna do really well as a show. Just putting it out there because everybody has like this fucking mom complex nowadays. I think it's wild.
Is that actually a thing?
Oh yeah, I mean, look, I'm not gonna sit here and tout about my personal life, but there's a website that starts with a P and ends with a hub, and I can't tell you how many videos on there are mom related, and I'll just leave it at that.
That's unlucky.
What?
Just everything about that was unlucky.
Hey man, that's just the way the world works, I guess. Really chambers, ley line. Sorry, PoE stuff. All right, back to our actual conversation point here, though. I feel like people are just willing to settle, and it's not that I think settling is inherently bad, but I feel like we're just okay with doing the same shit every season. Like when you think about like just Western media as well, you're looking at things like, I don't know, you remember when House was huge, right?
Yeah.
Okay, House had the exact same formula every episode. Exact same formula, but we still watched it all the time. It was still a huge show, you know, maybe not as much for everybody, right? Like not everybody was as into it, but it was still a huge show, and I couldn't tell you the whole, I didn't watch all of it, but you think of any like mainstream media show that isn't like some kind of comedy, it's the same shit every time. And I don't know, these shows just follow a formula. And I feel like, I don't know, it's weird. Because as a kid, I was always like, ooh, there's going to be something new, there's something better, there's something more interesting out there. Now I'm just like, so when's the next isekai? That's, you know? I'm not as big on the isekais, but like, for reference point, you get what I mean.
I feel like one thing is that, like, I don't feel like maybe so many people are technically willing to settle for less. I think that a lot of people are actually like tricked into settling for less because, like you said a little bit ago, and I think like I said the other day, it feels like what a lot of these studios are doing now is they're just deciding we're going to throw a huge twist in the first episode, and then it'll kind of devolve back into the norm, right? Like it's just
carry us for.
Yeah, and it's like enough to interest people into thinking that there's going to be something like very different going on, and then it just turns into what we've already seen, essentially, right?
Which, again, Maggie's grandson, as much as I'm enjoying the show, there's nothing unique about the show other than, like, I guess that makes it not unique, because I can say other than, but he gets the girl. But it's not even that big of a deal, it's just, it's there. They haven't even played with it more than, like, for an episode or two for some comedic purposes.
Yeah,
so. I
feel like with that show, though, like, at least it's, like, self-aware, right? Because there's, like, that whole thing in the beginning where it's, like, the trope with the two girls getting, like, held up by the guys, and he says, like, how, what do you say? It's, like, how predictable or how generic or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, the whole, he's just talking about the whole situation, you know? So it's, like, the show knows that it's just kind of doing what it's doing, but I don't know.
So do you think self-awareness can make up for a show being super generic? If I just make a show that's the exact same as everything else, but I'm just like, I make it so I'm aware, I guess. Because
it depends on how you do it, right?
Okay, do you have any bad examples of that? I guess because I was gonna mention like the best example of all time is Konosuba. Like,
yes,
that show is hyper aware of what it's doing, and it's amazing. They know, and it's just funny, and it's just the greatest shit I've ever watched. It's probably one of my favorite comedies of all time, if not my favorite comedy of all time.
That's another thing about ReZero too, right? Is it's absolutely 100% aware. Like, you know, like
ReZero was
Subaru's
meant to be
always
more
talking about-
serious, though. Like, I think that was where, like,
Yeah.
it kind of lost a little bit of its draw, was it was trying to be more serious when people were, like... Generally, meta stuff is meant to be funny. At least in my head, that's the way people, like, picture meta. Is the show's aware of itself, so it can make fun of itself. It's hard to be more serious when you know, like... I don't know. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, you can't make a show more serious because it's aware of itself. At least in my head.
I think it did cause some funny moments in, you know, a more serious show. Like it did, like, when the show was like calmed down at certain parts and he's talking about how, you know, the whole Emilia thing, like, this is the girl that I'm supposed to get as the hero in this new world or whatever, right?
Yeah, but then he gets creepy obsessive and shit. Like, I don't know, is that supposed to be, like, make it more serious just because he's quote-unquote supposed to get the girl? Like, I don't know. Because there's, like, he's very clearly, like, obsessed, right? Like, regardless of how meta he's supposed to be, he's obsessed with this girl, and it's kind of just uncomfortable. I don't know. It's just, you think back to, was it like in the mansion and stuff, and like why she made him stay? Was that roughly when that all happened, when he was just like getting weird about it? Like, do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm just kind of...
I'm having a hard time remembering because it's been a while.
But do you, like, roughly remember what I'm talking about? Like, there was just a time where I was like, you're just being, like, creepy obsessed at this point. It's really just, like, unsettling. I couldn't tell you, like, an exact instance, because, again, it's been a while, but I don't know. It's just... It in my mind, if a show's being meta, it's to be funny, and I don't know how to make something meta more serious. And ReZero is supposed to be, like, a serious, like, mind-trippy kind of thing, and I just feel like they kind of fucked themselves by being meta at the same time. And again, yeah, it caused for some funny moments, but I don't think it was enough to salvage. Look, I don't know what your total opinion on ReZero is. I think the show started really, really strong and then kind of devolved for a long period of time, and then it got really good again. I think it ended pretty well, but I think the, like, six episodes leading to the whale fight were just rough.
I watched the whole thing. I loved it. I know, like, a lot of people have huge problems with Subaru or whatever, but I was like, the whole time I was watching that, I was like, you're not supposed to like him. Like, that's the whole point.
Is it? Like, I don't...
Yeah, like...
I think he's supposed to be likable. I don't know. I didn't get that feeling, I guess.
Everyone's always talking about how he's fucking up and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, he's literally fucking up. That's the whole point. Like, that's why he, like, dies and goes back and all this stuff, and he starts to, like, slip into madness. You're not supposed to like a person who's slipping into madness, right?
I guess.
I don't feel like you're supposed to anyway.
I think they were trying to make you feel bad for him. That's the way I felt they were trying to do. It was like trying to make you feel bad for him, and I didn't feel bad for him. There was like, when he was first getting killed in the mansion, he kind of felt bad for him. Like, this poor fucking guy doesn't even know how he's dying. But other than that, go ahead.
Yeah, I felt like all the stuff with him, with them making him unlikable, was why when he, like, finally had his self-realization moment and turned it around, like, that's why that was more important, right? Because at the end, he did, like, kind of normalize because he realized that he was going down, like, the wrong path, right?
I guess. I don't know. I never looked at it that way. I guess. I don't know. I think he was just, in my mind, he was just trying to be the hero and restarting as many times as he needed to get himself going. And it just kind of burnt it for me. I don't know. I guess I maybe have to look at it through fresh eyes. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
Season 2's coming.
Yeah. That's next season, right?
Might be next one after that, I think. Might be winter.
Okay. Keep that in mind.
Fall, I mean.
I got you. I'll have to keep that in mind. Yeah, I don't... It's been a while since I've watched the show, so maybe, like, my opinions have skewed since then. I was really into the show when it first came out, but it's also been a few years since it first came out, so my memory is probably a little shot at this point.
Yeah. I can't remember a whole, like...
It's probably, like, if we're going to get into it, I'll probably, like, rewatch the show before it airs.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about doing that with the 2-hour shows before Accelerator.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that.
Accelerator. Fuck's the show, yeah. Season 3 of what the fuck? I did the mission here, right? We're done with you? Okay. That's a show I just need to watch in general. I haven't spent enough time on it, I guess.
One of my all-time favorites.
What sold you on the show? What was the defining moments that just was like, all right, the show's good?
I just think the whole power system and everything like that is super interesting, and I mean, like, you know, Index itself is a pretty. Looking back at it now, you could say it's like a super generic thing. I think back then when it came out, it was a little bit more unique, right?
Yeah.
The power system itself, I feel like, is
I guess what made it hard is like in the first season, you only introduced to like 2 espers, and they're all the highest level espers. We don't really get to see what like mid-tier espers look like, I guess.
You see a bit more of that in like Railgun than in Index.
Yeah. I feel like that's something they should have tried to show off the start, though, to like give you a reference of like how powerful these level 5 espers are. Or 4? Is it 4 and then they're trying to get to 5? I don't remember. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I agree. I think they probably realized that, and I think that's why Railgun was a prequel, and the second season of Railgun runs alongside the first season of Index.
Yeah.
So it's like the same story, but through a different perspective. Or bits of it are, anyway.
I got you. Yeah, I just feel like they didn't show you any mid-level espers. Like, you're literally just playing into this world of, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on or why these people are considered as powerful as they are. Like, I haven't seen one myself, so I don't even know what a mid-tier esper would look like. So I don't know, like, yeah, she seems powerful as shit. He seems powerful as shit. Like, what the fuck, you know? I get that they're supposed to be the strongest, but, like, what are, like, some mid-tier levels? Like, what does that look like?
You definitely do. I don't really want to get too into it.
Can you give me like a power example? Because like that's my mind. I'm trying to picture like what a mid-tier esper would even look like.
I don't really know how I would explain it. Right? Like I don't know. They deal with it a lot in the first season of Railgun, right? Where because there's like a lot of there's this whole story about this machine they call like the level upper, and it's like for these lower tier espers that want to become stronger, right?
Yeah.
And you see like some of the like lower tier espers like growing up or starting from like not really having powers at all, and then they can like slowly start to manipulate like one of the main girls in Railgun. She's like I think she's able to control like plants or whatever. Maybe I'm thinking wrong. Might be like wind.
No, that's an idea. I just needed ideas, but like in my mind, like that sounds insanely powerful because the way I understood it, right? I'm not going to say this is accurate, but the way I understood the Esper abilities is like if you can come up with ways to use it, it gains power, right?
Yes.
So
it's in my mind, like everything is creative.
In my mind, like that sounds like that chick should be pretty powerful. Plants and wind, either of them sound pretty powerful, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it's also like you said, you have to be able to come up with the ways to deal with it, and you also have to be able to wield that power or whatever, right? Like that's the whole thing.
So is there like a power level type thing then? Because that's maybe something I didn't understand. Is like you're saying you have to be able to wield that power. Like what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Like
there are different levels of espers, right? It's 1 and then 5 being the highest or whatever, and then the whole point of I think Index season 1 with like the accelerator stuff, which maybe they'll expand upon in Accelerator's show, is that like he was being used, him and Misaka were being used as like these experiments to try to create a level 6 Esper. So he was trying to become more powerful by killing other level 5 Espers.
Yeah, so, they talked about that during the first season for sure.
Yeah, and so they kept making clones of Misaka for him to kill, and that was.
But is it really like a level up? I guess like that's what I'm just trying to understand because like in my mind you think like power levels, you think like Bleach and shit, right? Or like I don't know, fucking Dragon Ball Z, like anything with like actual like power levels. Like there's just clearly stuff that you can't do unless you're strong enough. But yeah, there's like a clearly defined like way to gain power and stuff, at least roughly, right? Like in Dragon Ball, it's literally just train to get more power. In Bleach, I don't know, train to get more power. But like I don't know, is it along that line? I guess is what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, there are definitely like levels of control that you have to obtain by reaching, the next level.
Okay. Guacamole. All right. Well, Index, cool, sounding great. Any other shows you're
give
looking
me
forward to? I think we're talking about Firewatch. Is that what it's called? Firewatch?
Yeah.
Something we're both looking forward to, pretty much.
Yeah,
Looks great.
Firewatch looks great. I don't really know how to, because I don't really know a whole lot about it other than that the trailer looks really hype.
It's Madhouse, right? Is it Madhouse? Who is it?
No, I don't think it's Madhouse.
Whoever it is, the animation looks fucking sick. That's where I'm at.
Let's find out.
Well, let's find out.
David Production. I've never even.
Yeah, it's probably like some off-brand, like some company broke up and the remainders. We can probably find out soon.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got any other talking points while I sit here for a second and kind of rack my brain? We're approaching an hour. Usually is kind of like, if we're short on stuff to talk about is where we're at. This is kind of one of those episodes. We didn't have any prep time. We didn't think about it ahead of time. It was just like, hey, you want to do this? And you're like, okay. So.
Yeah, I don't really have anything off the top of my head.
All right. Well, I think we'll probably just call that there then. Anybody stop by, listen live? Appreciate you guys. If you want to catch these videos on YouTube and watch me play PoE in the background, if it's easier for you, you can find it at youtube.com/c/Ohgrr, spelled out phonetically, so it's OHGRR. We're also on Spotify. If you look up the Getsuga Talk Show, I'll be posting this on both of those places, and at some point in the future, we'll be on iTunes. If you guys have any comments, concerns, feedback, anything like that, anything you guys want us to talk about, feel free to email us at getsugatalkshow@gmail.com. I don't know, we're back. We'll be doing this every week. If you guys have any conversation topics, like I said, we'll try to approach them as best we can. I think what we'll do, and I'll set this as a goal for you right now, is next week, I don't know if that'll be next episode, we might do something tomorrow, depending on if we can come up with some topics overnight, but next week we'll talk about King's Avatar, since Season 2 is coming out, and we can watch it, talk about it, have opinions on it, and then maybe some other like minor topics in there if we can come up with some other shows, but I know it's something you've been wanting to watch, so...
Yeah, that sounds good. It gives me a reason to actually do it, so...
Yeah, I've been needing a reason to do it myself. And it's not that I don't want to do it, I just... there's just other shit to watch.
I'm watching so much stuff that it's been hard to find the time to actually just, like, sit down and do it.
No, I'm the same way. So, yeah, so next week, look forward to us talking about King's Avatar. If there's any other shows you guys want us to watch, please let us know. We'll probably do a mini wrap-up next week as well, because I think a lot of shows are ending next week. So... maybe not next week. So my work schedule is every other weekend I have off. So if we do one next week, it'll be earlier in the day on the weekend, if at all. No, it'll be later in the day, sorry. So, not later than we started today, but it'll just be like a later day stream. Because I get off at 7. My time, which is 10 your time. And I know it's already pretty late for you, so... Anyway, that's not important to the podcast. If you guys have any feedback, comments, concerns, like I said, feel free to email us, let us know. Appreciate you guys listening in. You want to do our first ever sign out for me and you? Let's go for it.
Wait, what? I got to do it?
Yeah, you got to do the sign out, man. What do you got?
I got nothing.
I don't know.
Bye.
We'll take it.